Welcome to All Israel Debates, where we bring you the unique and diverse voices shaping the Israeli conversation on politics. I'm J. Micah Hancock, and today we are diving into one of the most pressing and controversial topics facing our nation, the debate surrounding the potential termination of the current Gaza war. Should Israel consider ending the war now? It's a complex issue with no easy answers, but let's explore the various perspectives across the Israeli political spectrum. At the forefront, we have Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his supporters, who argue that ending the war prematurely would leave the job unfinished. They emphasize the importance of eliminating Hamas as a military and governing force in Gaza, securing the release of all hostages, and ensuring long-term security for Israel's southern communities. Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, who doesn't hold the same views as Netanyahu on some of the nuances, recently stated, "We must continue until we achieve our goals. Stopping now would signal weakness and invite further aggression." On the other side of the debate, we find opposition voices like Benny Gantz and Yair Lapid. While they fundamentally support the war's objectives, they've been increasingly critical of the government's handling of the conflict. Their primary concerns revolve around the lack of a clear strategy and a comprehensive post-war plan for Gaza. Lapid recently articulated this position, stating, "We cannot continue this war indefinitely without a clear endgame. The cost to Israeli society and to our international standing is becoming too great." Significantly, this perspective appears to align with the majority of Israel's senior military leadership. High-ranking officers, including members of the General Staff, have expressed confidence in the IDF's capability to temporarily reduce its presence in Gaza if diplomatic or strategic considerations require it. They assert that Israel could effectively resume large-scale operations in the future if necessary, without compromising long-term security objectives. This stance reflects a nuanced understanding of the interplay between military action and strategic flexibility in achieving Israel's goals. But it's not just politicians weighing in. Many current and former military officials, including members of the war cabinet, like Gadi Eisenkot, have voiced concerns about the long-term sustainability of the current military approach. Some are arguing for a shift towards more targeted operations rather than large-scale maneuvers. And there's growing concern about the impact on IDF morale and readiness for other potential fronts. They also insist that Israel focuses on the larger conflict against Iranian proxies. Surprisingly, Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, who previously pushed very firmly for Israel to take the Philadelphia corridor and Rafah, has recently argued, along with IDF Chief of Staff Herzi Halevi, that Israel can afford to temporarily withdraw even from most of southern Gaza in order to guarantee a hostage release deal. The IDF will not have trouble recapturing the territories, Gallant argues. In the media, we're seeing a range of opinions as well. Channel 12's Daphne Liel points out what the real issue is in her eyes. The real dilemma is simpler. What Netanyahu fears more, Ben Gvir or the protest, indicating that Netanyahu acts out of political fear of losing his far-right allies, Ben Gvir and Smotrich, while also trying to tame and appease the public opinion and outrage as he maneuvers between those two threats on his political perseverance. Veteran journalist Ben Caspit argues that Netanyahu is not actually killing the hostages, but rather abandoning them. Caspit believes Netanyahu very much wants to bring the hostages back, but there's one thing he wants even more: to keep his coalition intact. As a result, Caspit observes that Netanyahu is approaching the hostage negotiations half-heartedly. He seems to be doing the bare minimum with one hand, while obstructing and sabotaging the process with the other. It's as if he's being forced to negotiate rather than pursuing the deal with genuine commitment and urgency. Amit Segal, a prominent right-wing commentator, brings a different angle to this debate. He reminds us of a pivotal moment in Israel's recent history. Segal quotes, "The last thing I want to say to members of this House," said the defense minister, "and to people who are usually pessimists and prophets of doom, I want to tell those people, stop terrorizing the people of Israel." The defense minister was Shaul Mofaz, reminds Segal to his readers, and goes on to say, the pessimists, who are representatives of the beaten and stunned right, just 2 weeks after the completion of the evacuation of Gush Katif settlement in the summer of 2005. Segal uses this historical context to argue that we should be skeptical of the military establishment's current assessments. He suggests that past failures, like the decision to withdraw from the Philadelphia corridor, should make us question today's military recommendations about ending the war or making concessions. In Segal's view, the optimism of past military and political leaders about security arrangements proved disastrously wrong. He believes that history gives reason to doubt current assurances about the consequences of ending the war prematurely or returning to previous security paradigms. Netanyahu's recent press conferences for the Israeli public and foreign press appear to represent this viewpoint. Netanyahu argued that past experiences show that if the IDF withdraws from the Philadelphia corridor, international pressure may prevent it from returning. Given the strategic significance of the corridor for supplying Hamas with weapons and infrastructure, and giving it the ability also to smuggle both hostages and Hamas leaders out of Gaza through the tunnels, Netanyahu argues that Israel cannot abandon the Philadelphia corridor without surrendering its war goals. Of course, we cannot forget about public opinion. The Israeli public remains divided. Many support continuing the war until Hamas is fully defeated, while others are increasingly concerned about the economic and social costs of prolonged conflict. The families of the hostages in particular are becoming more vocal in their demands for a deal, even if it means compromising on the war goals. As we've seen, the debate over ending the war or even making a temporary ceasefire of up to 6 weeks encompasses many perspectives, from those who insist on total victory or those calling for an immediate ceasefire. The challenge for Israel's leadership is to navigate these competing views while securing the country's long-term security. Thank you for watching All Israel Debates. For more Israel-related content, follow us on allisrael.com, and please remember to subscribe to the All Israel News channel. I'm J. Micah Hancock, and we'll see you the next time.